Let's do it.
All right. Well, hey, thanks so much for getting on with me, brother. I
No
really
doubt,
appreciate
man.
it.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, definitely. Well, welcome to Door to the Top Floor, the podcast that brings you great content for just personal growth and development. And we're just trying to get better every day. That's kind of the theme of this podcast. But I'd like to welcome my buddy here, Ray Hicks. So he's a former NFL player. He coached his strength and conditioning for the 49ers back in the day.
Strength and conditioning, yeah.
And now CEO of IAMFASST. Man, so what's going on with you?
Man, nothing much. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, so just trying to stay safe.
Yeah.
In the midst of trying to still be an entrepreneur and run your own business. So you gotta reinvent yourself.
Yeah. What's life been like with COVID? Like last March, it's been damn near almost a year now. What changes have you had to make with just your day to day?
Man, just first, just make sure you're healthy. That's been the biggest thing so far during COVID. I mean, I've also lost family member during COVID, so it's been difficult.
Yeah.
And it can be definitely mentally stressful as well. A lot of people are used to not even going out, but just the social, awareness and the social activity of day to day. So that could be a mental I want to say disturbance against you as well. So it's been tough, man. COVID is something that kind of came out the blue and kind of slapped us in the face, and so you're forced to get used to it and adapt or stay strapped to COVID, man.
Yeah, you can't let it take you over. But
right,
yeah, no, I can understand. I mean, I think everyone learned a little bit about themselves, either maybe something you didn't notice before or an adjustment you had to make in your life. Maybe it highlighted that. Like, I don't know, at least me, like I noticed I started a new job and now I'm in this different kind of workflow where I'm working from home. And now I'm like getting fat. I got to get back to my routine and maybe I need to come see you at IAMFASST. You know what I mean? But what is there anything specific that you feel like maybe you learned about yourself during this time? You've been spending a lot of time at home, kind of.
Yeah, there is. One of the many things that I've learned is if I want to do what I want to do or live the life that I want to live is, and discipline. I gotta have discipline. And what I learned by that is, we have all this free time.
Right.
You have all this free time at home, and at first it can come off as like a shitty thing, or maybe hey, some people are like, hell yeah, let's stay at home. But as days turn to weeks and weeks turn to months, I gotta have discipline. I gotta have discipline because it's almost like a groundhog day, really. You wake up, same shit, wake up, same shit. And so the one major thing I learned is I gotta have discipline. And you can't wait on anything. You cannot wait on anything or anyone. Eventually, there's goals that have to continue to be met, or your life is just gonna be at a standstill. I feel like. So that discipline and not waiting on anything or anyone to achieve what you want to accomplish.
Yeah, being stagnant and just kind of waiting for things to change. You can't wait for change. You got to make change, right?
You got to make change.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, it was like, I think, with work from home, it's like you said, it's easy to get distracted. All these, maybe you have your friends or family next to you. You got some kids you got to deal with, like all that. And now everything's at home. For me, it's like to-do lists. If I rip a to-do list, and as long as I kind of write everything down, I see it with my 2 eyes. I'm like, okay, I have to do that today. But yeah, I was trying to think when I was writing this podcast, how did we met at Guapo's? Is that right? At El Guapo's back in the day? I was working security. Yeah. I can't remember how that interaction went, but I know
it was pretty smooth, man. It was pretty smooth. I believe I also know your brother as well. So
yeah.
I believe that's how the introduction went. So it's pretty smooth. Both two good guys, man. I appreciate you. And thanks again for having me on this podcast.
Yeah, my brother's trying to do something kind of similar to, obviously maybe a different route, but he's in the fitness world. He's kind of pursuing that. He's at Villasport now as the athletic director.
Okay.
And he's 21-year-old young buck. He's doing his thing, man.
Nice.
Hopefully he passes me up. That's the goal. I guess that's always the goal for big little brothers, man. Right? What about you? You have siblings yourself?
I have one younger brother, and he's still in Kansas City.
Okay. Is that you guys have that same kind of competition with athletics or life, or how does that go?
Our we're always we're 4 years apart. So
okay.
He was either coming or I was going, if that makes sense, as far as school goes and stuff like that. So our realm of friends were different. I went to more of a college prep school coming up as far as high school and stuff. And then he went to more of a public high school, which isn't bad. That's where I would have went as well. I was just fortunate enough to pass a test, and which led me to the prep school. And so our group of friends were just different. And I believe the wants from that group of friends were different, which led us to two different paths. But as we're older now, definitely talk a lot more and interact a lot more, and try to get him on the same mind frame, which he doesn't have to think like me, but as far as goals and setting goals and trying to accomplish goals, that's something I definitely want him to
trying to push forward, be better. And actually my brother's the same way. I'm kind of in a sales role. I went down that path. I introduced my brother. That wasn't for him. Fitness is his kind of world. But he kind of steals the things that I do well and he adds them to his game. And hopefully your brother's doing the same thing, right? Or learn from your mistakes. Maybe a mistake you made and say, hey, I saw Ray do that. That didn't work out.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of mistakes that go on.
Yeah. So talk to me about IAMFASST. So obviously, I'm sure COVID made some huge adjustments to your business.
So IAMFASST has been around for about 12 years.
Okay. 11
to 12 years. It started more in Kansas City, which is where I'm from.
Yeah.
So this is how it started. I came up as a trainer, got all as many certifications as I could, and I was working in a gym, and the corporate world. So I did that for about 4 years, and I hate it. Once I learned the system, I didn't like the system. All right.
Okay.
I felt.
Explain that to me a little bit. I'm not really, I'm not in that world. I don't really understand how it works.
So as a trainer in the corporate world, and working for someone, our companies, let's say, actually, I don't want to say any companies. I don't want to badmouth any companies or anything like that.
I got you.
So you're working for a company and you come in and say you have eight sessions a day. All right, so boom, you're killing it. All right, you're working hard. You got all these people. You're helping people reach goals, and then that paycheck comes, and you don't feel like you're getting paid for what the work that you put in, the time you put in. Because a lot of people think it's just you come in, you just count for people, which is totally not true. It's a lot of program design that goes behind it. And really, you're like a one-on-one psychiatrist, because you take on so many people's, day-to-day issues. You talk day-to-day about what's going on with them, and you kind of shut yourself down to listen. So anyway, in the corporate world, I just didn't feel like I was getting paid for what I was worth and the time that I put in. And so I attempted to open my own, or I tried to do it on my own, and I failed. I failed miserably.
Okay.
Failed miserably. And the reason I failed was I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know anything about getting out there and putting how to put my name out there. Back then, social media wasn't that big. It wasn't that huge. everybody with Instagram now, man, is so lucky, even myself. But that wasn't really a thing back then. I want to say about 8 years ago, 9 years ago. That wasn't really a thing. So learning how to get myself out there, get the word of mouth going, I felt horribly. So I ended up going back to a gym.
Okay.
I ended up going back to a gym, and I learned more the business side of things, like how to structure pay, how to look at my business 3 or 4 months down the road, where I want it to be, down times in business. And so I just became more business savvy in the training world. And then so I left again. I left about a year and a half later to try it again. And this time I found success as I was starting to train more athletes. And I did this all for free.
In the beginning, when you went back over.
Yeah.
Free.
For free, man.
Why free? You was just trying to get clients, or what was it?
For free, it was more like me proving myself to them and myself. You know, it was more. I trained a lot of NBA players and NFL players, and at that specific moment, or time in my life, I didn't train any players like that, so it was real foreign to me, as far as what to put them through, what to expect from them, and stuff like that. So it was more like a trial and error thing with myself.
Okay.
And so during that trial and error, I did it for free.
Okay.
And so
because you were still figuring it out, kind of thing, or
I was still figuring it out, man. Like we put such a high pedestal on professional athletes. You know, and they're just everyday people, but the outside world, general population, we put such a pedestal on them, and so we think very highly, like, but like I said, they're everyday people. But in my aspect, training them every day, was just like, it was such a, like, I felt like, to me, it was like, oh man, you're making it,
yeah. Right.
And so I trained these guys for a summer for free. And what happened is they came back the next summer. All of them, and then like 5 or 6 more came back.
They brought some of their boys, so
brought some of their boys back, and I was like, all right, you did something right. I got something here. And then that's when I Am Fast came alive, more like, because I think what social media was. I think Twitter
was in the pudding at that point, right?
Proof was in the pudding for sure.
Yeah.
Proof was in the pudding for sure. And I believe Twitter was the main social media. And so from there, I was able to like capture videos, or, enter tweets, or have some of the guys I was training do tweets and stuff like that for myself. And then that's how it kind of grew.
Huh. So I'm curious. So you think, I guess, from the first time to the second time, the biggest mistakes were you just kind of not understanding the rules of the game? Is that what you would contribute to?
Definitely did not understand the rules of the game.
Because you knew the craft, right? You knew the training.
I knew the craft.
Didn't know the marketing side, the business side to it.
Right. I didn't know the structure in which how I needed to conduct my business.
I'm curious, social media, we touched on that a little bit. Social media is huge, man. And now it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these great free resources for young entrepreneurs to use. And even like, have you tapped into Clubhouse yet?
No, I have not.
Heard about it? I got to send you the invite. Do you know what it is?
I've never even heard of it.
So check this out. I believe it's owned by Twitter. Clubhouse, I'll send you the invite after this. Clubhouse is pretty much an application where all it is a big chat room, and it'll just show your name, and pretty much you will click in the room. It'll be a title. It'll be like young entrepreneurs, and you'll click and raise your hand. And it's pretty much a networking site where people talk to each other and network with each other, but it's blowing up. And it's pretty cool. I'll send you the invite. It's kind of hard to, I guess, explain, but I'm curious, with all the social media resources these days, and you're a young entrepreneur, right? You're still kind of figuring it out. What advice would you give to, I guess, a young entrepreneur that was maybe in your shoes the first time, that doesn't really know the business side, that's still kind of figuring it out, but have this thing that they want to do? What just basic advice would you give them?
Man, basic advice I would have is, man, just don't be scared. Jump. Because one, you never know what can happen from you putting yourself out there. And two, you're never gonna know what's gonna happen if you don't put yourself out there. So if I had any just real advice, I would just say, just do it no matter what. Don't wait on anybody. Because nobody's gonna work as hard as you want to at your dream or your goal. So man, just do it, man. Just jump out there and just see what happens. And and if you fail and don't get the results that you want, don't take it as a failure, take it as a lesson, and then go back to the drawing board and adapt to what you need to do, and then come back stronger.
Yeah. It's not failure unless you put the stamp of it on it, right? Unless you give up. I think failure is only failure if you quit and like you don't go back out there, you don't get back up.
Right.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You said you started fast, I Am Fast about 12 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah, 2008.
2008. So kind of help me with the time frame here. So you started in 2008. You went off with it. It wasn't successful at first.
Right.
Then you were doing some training.
Went back to a gym.
Back to and this is in Kansas City, correct?
It's all in Kansas City.
It's in KC. And then from there, my understanding is in 2015,
right as fast,
you get a call.
And it was because some of the players that I was training. So Michael Wilhoit, I'll throw his name out there.
Yeah.
49er linebacker was one of the guys I was training during that summer, and he had came back and had a great camp, a great mini camp right before the season. And so I was just like, hey, if the coach needs some help out there,
happy to do it. Yeah,
I'm happy to do it. And me thinking nothing of it, it's funny. I can tell you the story, kind of exactly how it happened. I'm sitting on my couch, one of my friends. It's like 12 in the morning, 1 in the morning, whatever. And I'm just like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go to California. I'm gonna be a strength coach. And it's one of those little drunk talks, whatever.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah. You're speaking hypotheticals, right?
I want to say so boom, summer's going great. The summer's coming to an end. Or actually it's like June. It's like June at this time. I'm just got a new place.
Life
boom,
is good.
Within the next week, I get a call from the head strength coach was Mark Uyama at the time.
Okay.
And then Jim Harbaugh's on the phone. And so I'm thinking, so I pick up, hey, how you doing? And then I think it's one of my boys pranking me. And so I'm like, so I hang the phone up.
Oh shit.
I hang the phone up like, man, they're trying to prank me. And then the number calls back. I'm like, oh shit. Like maybe that was him. So boom, I get on the phone, I get on the call again. And then so Jim Harbaugh talks instead of the head strength coach. It's like, hey, this is Harbaugh. Love what you've done with some of our players. We'd like for you to come down for an interview. And so the interview's like, it's like a camp. It's during their camp. And it's pretty much like a 3-week camp. He's like, and if we like you, we'll sign you. And so just like that.
That's huge. Yeah,
it was huge, man. It was like a quick turn of events for me. Because one, I just got this new place. Training's going good with, not only him, but just so many other guys. Like I'm really learning the format of things. And then boom, I get the call and I'm like, well, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm out.
I'm sorry.
It's been real. Yeah. Right.
And so I get down here, man, and my eyes were just so wide open. Like I was like a sponge, you first you see some of the best players in the world, at that,
that team was stacked.
We were stacked.
Stacked.
Kaepernick.
That was one of my favorite Kaepernick days. Kaepernick was eating defenses. Frank Gore was vicious. P. Willie and all that defense. I love the defense now. That was my favorite defense.
Oh, God, it was
we had the two safeties back there taking heads off. It was vicious.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Whitner, that was a cool team.
Yeah. And so when probably for like the first few months, it was more like me still in awe.
Yeah.
Of like, all right, you want me to go train? You want me to go train these guys? All right. Yeah. Like, you want me? All right. So it was for the first few months, man, I was still just like not all that I'm here, more than all that I was doing it. I spoke it into existence, and I didn't quit, and I feel like in that sense that I made it.
Yeah. What do you think? What was the biggest surprise when you got there? I mean, obviously seeing the players up close was trippy, right? And being in the locker rooms and but what was it that really surprised you when you saw that?
One of the biggest surprises was some of the guys' work ethic surprised me, because you hear so much of what guys do outside of like their job, or they did this, or they're doing this. But man, a lot of those guys, like I said, at the end of the day, they're people just like me and you, going to their job and taking their craft serious. So the guys would be in there at 5 a.m. working out, and then come back and for another workout, and then go practice, and then come back again for another. So I guess just the dedication to the craft was just surprising, which made me even more dedicated to my craft.
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest surprise.
Yeah. I'm curious, was there anyone specific? I don't know if you can go into this too much. Was there anyone specific that was like above and beyond, just work like a Kobe Bryant, kind of like just outworking everyone? Was there anyone specific? Yeah, a couple people.
There was two people, and I don't mind saying Dante Whitner,
okay,
and Colin Kaepernick.
Cap is grinding.
I mean, his work ethic was ridiculous. He would literally be the one to open up the facility and close down the facility every day. And that's 4:30. If you're 4:30, you're the quarterback. He watched tape, first workout at 5, second workout at lunch, and then he'd throw, and then work out again before he went home, which was like 6.
That's something else.
Yeah. And in the midst of all that, he's the quarterback, so you're watching a ton of game film, and you're pretty much like the leader of the team in my eye. I mean, you're one of the leaders. You're one of the leaders of the team. Your voice is is there to be heard. And so just, man, his work ethic, the time, the amount of time he put in, and Dante too, the amount of time Dante put in as well, was is very eye-opening, and almost something that you can just sit back and watch, like wow, like look at these guys really work, and just how critical they were of any mistake, and not of themselves, or just anybody else around them. They wanted them to feel or be in that same sense of work ethic as well.
Yeah. Was there anyone that I guess was kind of the opposite of what you expected, or something like that was just like, oh, I didn't expect him to be like that, or maybe like super like, I don't know, super friendly, or like they had an interesting hobby you never would have thought of? Was there anything that was kind of like, whoa, I didn't expect that, but that's pretty cool?
Yeah. Okay. Well, so Vernon Davis trained him as well, even outside of the facilities. He had some interesting hobbies. He had took me to one of his art galleries.
Yeah, he's doing that now too, pretty big, huh?
Yeah, which used to be like on Santana Row. And man, that surprised me. You think of Vernon Davis, it's like Hall of Fame type of guy.
4'3" tight end,
4'3",
yeah, he was a beast.
Chiseled, chiseled out. But man, his the art gallery, and just his will to want to be an actor and stuff like that, because that was still like in the fruition at that time. Like he was still like coming out with that. And so,
right.
Just some of the outside things that he wanted to do, man, that were not just football. So
yeah,
that
I
was
think
real cool
yeah,
to
I was
see.
gonna say, I think a lot of that gets overshadowed sometimes with just like, the things that they do on the field. There's so many athletes that go off and do great things. Like, I mean, Kaepernick is the perfect example, right?
Right.
You go off and you take that stage and you make it something bigger than yourself. And I think that's what really legacy is. It's like, what are you going to leave behind? What you do
Right.
on the field only lasts a certain while, but people remember you for other things too. And I think that stuff's
Absolutely.
super, super important.
Absolutely.
I got to ask this question because I was super interested.
Yeah.
What's Jim Harbaugh like, man? I love that guy as a coach. I miss him out there. What was he like in person? I'm sure that conversation on the phone, obviously you didn't even believe it was him. But then when
Right.
you got
Right.
there in front of him, what was that like? Like, what is he
Man,
like?
he's a great guy, man. And again, appreciate him even letting me come on staff there. But he's a guy's guy. He's not here to really bullshit the
Yeah.
situation or whatnot. And he's going to get it right. He's one of those guys that he's more down to earth, man. Even him like talking to me, like he would come down because I would work out. You can kind of see down on the field when people would work out, and he would come
Sure.
down and just talk it up with me, which was so unusual, for him, a guy of his caliber, to come
Right.
down and just have a shit. Didn't even
Just
have to
like a
be
candid conversation. Yeah.
yeah, candid conversation, and not asking anything or him wanting me to do anything, just to see how my day was going.
Yeah.
So man, he was a real cool guy. He had his own way of doing things. He had his own way of doing things. That's one thing I would say. And some people it wasn't for, and some people it was. But at the end of the day, we were 3 times to the championship and
I
to the
mean, they
Super
were
Bowl.
winning, so clearly he was doing
So,
something
so it
right,
was
right?
working. In my
Yeah.
opinion, it worked.
Yeah. Now, obviously, that was a huge opportunity, but I'm sure you gained not only skill set and tactics, coaching tactics, leadership stuff. You got to see a different level of discipline and a different level of work ethic. But this may be a big question that may be hard to answer, but what do you think was your biggest takeaway that you've kind of carried on with you now?
Oh, that's a good question. One, or it's a few things actually, but the biggest thing is how prepared you have to be. Like
Preparation.
preparation, man. And I would say I learned this from my strength coach, Mark Uyama, was preparation and how far, we know the end goal would be here, but from here now we need to work 12 weeks down to here and start from week 1 all the way up to week 12, and be
Right.
able to speak to what you want to accomplish each week, and write that down, even if you fell short or you went well beyond the goal, write that down where you were. And then so the preparation is something that I took away from that I still instill in myself to this day.
Yeah. That's huge. Yeah. I always try to work my goals backwards, if that makes sense. Like I look at where I want to be and I think about all the steps to be there. And I'm like, okay, I got to do that.
Right.
And then I'll get there. But if I play it from kind of if I want my life to be this thing and I have to do all this stuff along the way, let me knock all that stuff out. And eventually I'll just be like, oh shit, I'm here now.
Right. And it's crazy, I had no idea how that really worked,
Right.
I always thought of a goal, and I just thought of the goal, boom, the goal's here. And I'd be like, all right, well, in my head, I need to do this and this. And it never occurred to me. And, you hear people say, write it down. My dad was a big firm believer in writing it down. And, I never took into that as a younger person. But now if I was to go in my room and show you, man, I have probably like 2 years of goals just written down,
written all over.
monthly goals. Yeah. And so, you know, I think it's a big testament to where I am now.
How often you go through, like, you know, writing goals, like doing stuff like that? How often do you kind of sit yourself down, revisit them? Like,
man, every month,
Yeah.
I get a sheet of paper out, monthly goals, and write about, you know, personal goals, career goals, and then just some off the wall goals that I want to achieve as well. So I try to do that every month, and for the last 2.5, 3 years, I got something up there for every month.
Yeah, I love that. Now you went to Utah State, right? You played wide receiver over there?
Wide receiver, Utah State, go Aggies.
Utah State, let's go Aggies. And then my understanding is 2 years in, you get a call from the Bills, you get pulled in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you weren't done with school yet, right?
So
yes and no?
I technically wasn't done with school. And you know, it's crazy, and it goes back to preparation. I was not prepared for this call.
Okay.
I was, you know, because the season was over. In my case, I was undrafted. I was undrafted free agent, and so you kind of know, and then you kind of don't. You know, they're more like focused on the guys going to the combine and stuff like that.
Right.
And so, you know, I was real disappointed in myself, and I was kind of mad at the world at that time. You know, just there's a lot of stuff going on family wise, but
sure,
and more in myself for not being prepared for that type of situation. And so I get the call. I probably have like a month to prepare, which is, you know, you're thinking I'm young, like, oh, a month I'll be fine. And
it's the league, man. Yeah,
right.
It's the league. You can't just do that.
You know,
yeah.
I went up there. I went up to Orchard Park in Buffalo, and you know, by that time my running is just now getting back into where it needs to be, my conditioning and stuff like that. So you know, I did decent enough to get on the squad as a practice player. But personally, I knew deep down why I wasn't where I wanted to be, and you know, I took that out on everybody else except for myself.
Yeah. And then you got hurt at the end of that season, is that right?
Yeah, got hurt, and I got hurt, which I tore my hamstring. Again, preparation.
Yeah.
You know, it takes me back to preparation each time. You know, going out there, you know, kind of not late to practice, but not doing the proper stretching, not, you know, it's cold up there, not stretching,
going through the motions, right?
Like going through the motion, you know, not taking care of my body as I should have. And then, man, the worst thing, I'm actually on defense at this time, turning out to run this go route on a receiver, and boom, popped. Like, you can hear it. Like, even the receiver stopped next to me because he heard it. And so it was just like, right, you know, it's like, you know, when you die, you say your life flashes in front of your eyes. It's like, everything flashed right there. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, it was over for me. It took me a few years to even thinking about running full speed after that.
Man.
But that injury led me to training.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. So, but at that point, at least from my perspective, at that point, all the way up until that point, it's been the Ray show. You focus on you and you getting yourself athletically to a different point.
Right.
But that was a huge transition for you to say, hey, you know what? I want to help somebody else hit their goals. I want to take all the skills and the knowledge and, you know, everything that I've learned to helping other people get there. Where did that come from?
Man, you know, I'm just kind of back up just so you can understand the transition.
Yeah, hit me.
And so after I got hurt, you know, I felt like my life was over. You know, even though, you know, at that time, football was my life.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going back home, and I said, like, again, mad at the world. Just so I ended up getting into quite a bit of trouble. Nothing too crazy, but it was trouble, you know. And also there was trouble going on in my family. My mom had breast cancer and stuff. So
Yeah.
Things were affecting me that I didn't think were affecting me. And so man, I was served a nice big fat humble pie because of the jobs that I was available to do. And coming from college, I felt that I should be I felt I deserved something more than what I was doing. And so what I ended up doing, coming back home, I was a janitor at a gym, Lifetime Fitness. Yeah, I was a janitor at a gym.
Yes, you weren't even
And
training. You were
I
cleaning.
wasn't even training. I was cleaning, watching.
Damn.
I was watching people train. Because again, I'm still mad at the world. I'm mad at, mad what's going on in my family. I'm mad. I'm just mad.
Right.
And not necessarily taking any accountability or responsibility for myself. And so I was a janitor at the time. I was a server at Red Robin. And then I was a nightclub bouncer or security guard, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy because so I was humbled, all right, because I'm in here cleaning up after people,
Yeah.
all right, in a locker room. And two, it made me like open my eyes. Like every job that I had to do revolved into a skill, and so with serving, I had to go up and talk to people that I've never seen before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
From young age to small age. So in training, when you present yourself,
You got to do that too.
you're talking to somebody you never met. That taught me how to talk to people,
right,
and treat everybody with the same respect and build relationships. The bouncer thing, was more like that taught me just
problem solving.
Problem solving, being, because I was like the head guy of that. So that was part of like leading a team and stuff like that. And being able, not just for myself, but being accountable for other people as well under my watch. And then the cleaning thing, which is why I have OCD today, I feel like, which is more like, like you see different people you see people in the locker room. I'm sure you've been in a locker room yourself. There's people in there all sorts, but that taught me how to network and, and ask questions, because I would see these guys coming in from work. I would see construction guys, real estate guys, all types of people, making the type of money that I wanted to make. But yet, in my eyes, I was still here and they were here. So learning how to talk to those guys, what inspired them. And so that taught me how to network. So all those three things kind of led me to today. Yeah.
And then, okay. So I'm making sure I'm up at the time track here. So after that, then you went back to training.
Then I got into training.
So what did the in between humble pie, learning all this stuff, you work in different jobs that you feel like were lower than where you should be. And then you learned all that. You took that skill set, you opened up. But this is the second time now, right?
So it went from bills to there. So bills is there because I had gotten in trouble.
Right.
And so I wasn't able to do what I thought I should be able to do.
Right.
All right. So boom. That's why I had to have those type of jobs in that point of my life, which those jobs, got me into training, which got to 2000. That started in 2007 when I started training.
Okay.
So that was like all that happened right before I started training. And then,
okay, got it.
And then that got me into training right there.
Okay, and then from there, the Niners. Then from
there, everything started ascending. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. So now that brings a different question up. I'm curious. So you were with the Niners. You made it. You're learning all these skills. You're surrounded by Jim Harbaugh, P. Willie, Cap, like all these superstars, Bowman. The list goes on. And then you left to go back to doing your own thing.
Right.
Where did you, was that because of the nature of the team? Because you were there till what, 2015? 2016?
Yeah.
And that was after Harbaugh. That was the Tom Sula,
That was,
transition.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
some rough Kaepernick days.
That was some rough days. You know, man, once you're in there and, you know, you start seeing, or I should say once I was in there and I was learning how things worked, you know, then you start, as I was getting older, I started, you know, time is something you can never get back.
100%.
No matter how much money you got, no matter what you do, no matter what you want, time is something you can never get back.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I was starting to realize that all of my time was going for something that they're trying to pursue.
Right.
You know, if that makes sense. And
No, that makes
not
sense.
to say I wasn't happy, but I just started to realize that there's something out there more for me to do to fulfill my time with.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of not, and I don't want to make it sound bad, but you know, at that, when I'm in that position with the Niners, you're basically waiting on the players hand and foot. You know, it's not about you. It's not about nobody in the organization.
Yeah,
But
you're their trainer.
Yeah.
Right.
You're there for them, you know, pretty much. So if they want to be there, you need to be there. You know, they want to leave, then you sit around until somebody else wants to come in.
Sure.
And so about after year two, and you know, the Harbaugh coaching staff got dismissed as well as I. It was more like, what do I want to do? You know, like I felt like I had more meaning in my time to give to people, and something that was not saying it wasn't gratifying, you know, because you know, seeing us win, you know, being a part of that was awesome. But I wanted to be able to like really have my hand on helping people, really not really get better, because you can't make nobody get better, but I should say assist them in getting better. You know, show them there's different ways to go about things, or different ways you can live your life as far as a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. And I think especially with all your experience, it's like you know, you experienced some roadblocks, you fell in some puddles, you had some shortcomings along the way. And you know, for a young man or woman that's trying to do something on their own, you've been there. You can relate to them. And I'm sure that's what kind of makes you a little bit different as a personal trainer, as that kind of, you know, that coach. It's like, you've been there, you've done that, you made the mistakes, and let me help you kind of navigate around. Because you know,
absolutely, man.
It's like you said, it's like you spend enough time with someone, especially with personal training, it's like naturally you're going to build a relationship with them. Naturally, you're going to talk about life things. And, you know, I think, at least for me, the reason why I would stick with a certain trainer, whether it was like a boxing trainer or a certain professor in school or a certain boss at a company, it's like, I follow you based on what you do and what you preach and what I see with my two eyes.
Right.
And I think that that's definitely maybe somewhere where maybe you're sticking out. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, it's something you know, I love that job, and I'm grateful and give glory to the Almighty for that job. And because it put me in a position to do different things and network with different people and stuff like that. So I'll forever be grateful for that job. But at the same time, it also showed me what I wanted to do and what I want to get out of life and stuff like that. You know, so it just showed me a different avenue that I wanted to go down, and I'm glad I did. You know, and one of the biggest things it showed me is you can be replaced if you're not your own boss.
Yeah, that's true.
You can be replaced easily, and it's, you know, it's not that they don't like you. It's business. You know, it's business. It's a business thing. So I definitely want to be in control of my own destiny.
Now you've been so now IAMFASST has been open for what, 10, 12 years?
Yep.
What's the direction? What's kind of like, what's the end for you? Where are you trying to head with this company?
Right now we're in the process of you know, getting a clothing line out.
Nice. Okay.
Excuse me, getting the clothing line out, and I would love to have my own gym.
Okay.
You know, and I kind of have that now, but it's not, you know, the exact way I would want it.
Sure.
So you know, maybe a bigger location to, you know, to really help more kids. I really love working with kids.
Yeah.
You know, and seeing them have goals and where they want to be, and you know, they look at all these players and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I believe I know what it takes to get there, being a player myself. And so I would really love to, you know, be able to help kids more, whether young or old. And yeah, so those are the two things that we have going on for Fast right now, or in the current projects. And yeah, looking forward to it.
I love that. You don't want to go, I guess, what is the guy? I read his book. Oh, Tim Grover. The Tim Grover route. That's not the route you're trying to go.
I don't think I'm trying to take that route.
Yeah. But that's also at the same time, kind of like you were saying with the Niners. It's kind of hand and foot. You know, Tim Grover, he was like, hey, Kobe Bryant called me at 3 a.m. and he's flying out here to work.
Right.
4 a.m. Right. Or whatever it is. Or Dwayne Wade or all those other cool guys he was working with. But yeah, that's really interesting. Now, you've been an athlete, professional athlete. You've been, you know, a trainer with professional athletes. Now you're a CEO, business owner. I guess what would you encompass the three things or a couple of things that were the key factors in getting in there? I know you mentioned discipline. I know you mentioned preparation, but what would you contribute? I guess your success, you know, those are completely different things, right? But I'm sure they encompass kind of a similar mindset or something within you. I'd love to hear a little bit more about.
So you said the three things that that kind of instilled into me. One, you have to be dedicated. You have to be and even in your job, you know, it's dedication to get up and do what you do day in and day out. Desire. Yeah, because it's going to be days that you don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be days that you're like, am I doing this? Am I doing it right? Like, I don't see any results. You know, and I'm sure you can attest to what I'm talking about. That it's going to be hard times where you question yourself, you know, so you have to be desired, dedicated, and you have to be willing to self-motivate. You have to self-motivate yourself, you know, because like I said, it's going to be hard. And I don't even like using the word hard. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging, you know, because everything, you know, life throws us curveballs just as it do as this pandemic. And you still have to have the self-motivation, the dedication, you know, to get up day in and day out and, you know, put a smile on your face, be grateful that you woke up this morning. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of people that didn't wake up. And so, you know, you just have to be grateful, man. Be grateful and go out there and do what you got to do. Because like I said, it's going to be times that are very hard and trials and stuff like that knock you down and make you think about if you want to even continue doing this and stuff like that. So just know that there's somebody out there that's less fortunate and wishing they can be in your, you know, wishing they can be in your shoes, or, you know, wishing they had the platform that you have or we have. And so, you know, I think that's my motivation. And also, I have other motivations as well, but, you know, just be grateful. Be grateful is probably the biggest thing.
And this is mainly the last question I have for you, and something that I've personally been struggling with myself, and is, you know, I've been reading this book called Find Your Why by Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think for someone like myself, like I'm, you know, I did door-to-door sales, I did fighting, I learned a lot of skills, and I have plenty of things that I think I love to do and that I like to do. But I think within that is like it's like there's something deeper down, right? There's a reason why you want those things. You know, if you want to be rich, there's a reason why you want to be rich. If you want to be famous, there's a reason why. I guess for, you know, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you know the answer to that for yourself, right? And the way that I would describe that, and everyone would be able to say, is a why statement is to blank so that blank. It's like to train others so they can be successful in fitness or whatever it is. But what advice would you have for someone that maybe is trying to answer that for themselves and trying to find their why? Because everyone has like things that they love to do, right? The things, but everyone has a why. And it's
gotta have a
sometimes so
why.
hard to uncover.
You know, and to find your why, it takes time, because you're not gonna know right off the bat what it is, or you know, like I said, or why. And then for me, it was more, you know, it's funny. Somebody gave me an exercise to do.
It hit me.
It was an exercise, and it was real, and it made me find my why on why. And it was just a series of questions. And maybe I can get this over to you. I have it.
Yeah, get it over to me.
I'll get that over to you. And it's like a series. So what you do, you ask you a question, and then it asks you the same question over and over. So it's
Okay.
it's like a onion being peeled down to all the way to.
Yeah. Right.
So it asks you the same question, and every time I answered the question, you see the same question again, but it makes you think like, all right, well, so my why, is that what are you asking me my why?
Yeah.
Man, my biggest why is, you know, to be able to provide for a family that I want, you know, and certain struggles that I went through, I don't want them to have that. And so my why is no longer for myself. And I think that's when people start becoming more successful, or start ascending to whichever part that it can't be about you.
Yeah.
It has to be way bigger than you, because, you know, if it's just you, then that's selfish, which is fine. And it's okay to be selfish in a point in your life, you know, and that's okay. I had to learn that too. But in the same sense, like, my why is for my mom, my dad, not, you know, for my future wife, future kids, and stuff like that. And so that why right there is what drives me probably more crazy than anything, you know, is to being able to either leave something for my kids, or to show them, like, hey, this is what your dad did, you know what I mean? Or say, you know, somebody gets sick. My why is, you know, I work so hard. Let me be, I can fly over here. It's not a problem. You know, I don't need to worry about jumping back, you know, getting back to work, and, you know, family members over here ill or whatnot. So that is, it's a large umbrella, but my why is pretty much family, you know, being able to provide family, being able to be there for my family in a time of need, or whenever, you know, maybe it's not illness, maybe it's financially, something like that. But just being able to be that sole provider, and you can lean on me when you need help. That's my why.
Yeah. So maybe in the why statement, it would be to achieve success, to be able to give back.
To give back, for sure.
Something like that. I love that. Well, Ray, thanks so much for getting on with me, man. This is a super fun podcast. I learned a lot about you.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you provided a lot of value. Yeah, this is fun. But where can we connect with you if you want to find out, if you want to train with you? Where can we connect with you?
Oh, awesome. You can either go to my website, IAMFASST.com, or you can get me on Instagram, Ray_Day1, or you can just reach me. You can reach me on those two platforms right there. Look forward to coming out, having a good time. It will be a challenging session, but it'll also be a fun session. You know, we'll go over goals, things that you want to accomplish, and I'll make sure you achieve those goals in a fun, challenging manner.
Yeah. Promise we're not going to be throwing up in trash cans too much.
I can't promise you that, you know. So
I love that.
But just it'll be fun. Promise you that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for getting on with me. I really appreciate it.